Hello, good evening everyone. And so if you read the description for today's stitch, it's going to be herringbone stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do flat herringbone. This is something that someone requested today or earlier in a previous video, so I am going to show you guys how to do this. This is a great stitch for beginners. And so I would really love it if you guys would go ahead and share. If you know of a beginner who might find this very helpful to learn, please, hello, hi Norma, how are you this evening? So I'm going to get started in just a second here. As I was saying, this is going to be flat herringbone. So a lot of you may be very familiar with it. Someone asked me to make this particular stitch. And hi Kathy, good evening. So here it is. This is flat herringbone, and this I did with delicas. And all I did was a alternating pattern here with delicas, gave it a little white border. So really simple bracelet, but really fun and easy to make. So I'm going to show you guys how to start this and how to do so the first thing when you start herringbone is you're going to do a ladder stitch base. So what you're going to do is pick up 2 beads and bring them towards the end of your thread. You can use a stopper bead if you want, you don't necessarily have to. And pick up 2 more. And there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do this with 1 bead or 2 beads. I like doing it with 2 beads because it gives it a nice border. And what you're going to do after you pick up the 2 is go back through the first 2 beads. And what they do is they end up side by side like this, and then go down the 2 beads, and we are going to pick up 2 more and go through the previous set of 2. And back up. So essentially what I'm showing you is basically a 2-drop ladder stitch. And I'm having, ooh, my beads turned. There we go. And I'm going to do a total of 6 to start with, or 6 sets. So this is my 4th set that I'm adding. So there's 4, and this is going to be 5, and 6. And now what you do is we're just going to do a little reinforcing. And the way I do this is I just go back through the beads. So I go back to the original first set of beads here on the right side. And what it'll do is it'll help straighten these beads out. So you can see some of these aren't completely straight. And so this just helps it to get nice and straight looking. I should pretty much have patterns on just about everything that I've shown you so far. There's lots of right angle weave patterns that I showed you. There's craw patterns. There was the tri-stitch patterns that I showed you. I'm trying to think. Yeah, as far as I know, there should be a pattern on YouTube if you go back and search the different ones, and there should be a herringbone pattern on there. All right, so once you make it back to the end, what I like to do is I turn it over and I work this way. So the beads I'm using are 11-ohs, Kelly, or 11-aught. I always say 11-ohs, and some people don't. They think it's weird. So anyway, so the next step, now we're going to start herringbone. And so once you've gotten the width that you want, what you want to do is make sure you do an even number. It makes it a little bit, it's easier because herringbone works in twos. So I've got a set of 6 here, and what I'm going to do is pick up 2 of my other colors so you guys can really see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is just go down the first bead here in my set of 2. So I'm not going to go down all the way through both of them. And so the first 2, and they sit side by side. And then what you do is go up the next one here. And I'm going to have a little bit of trouble because this is a little bit, the beads are nice and tight. So if you're a tight beader, then you might have to wiggle around with your needle a little bit. But you're just going straight up. And I need to... And then what you do is you pick up 2 more. And you're going to go down to the next one here. So your thread is coming up this one, and you go down into the one next to it. And there you go. And then go up. So this is why you can understand now why you needed to do an even number of beads. Oops, I'm having a little trouble. Like I said, the beads are close together. And our last one here. Now I'm going to turn the work, so I'm going to flip it back. So I'm working from left to right. And what you do is, and a lot of people use 15-ohs, you can use 11-ohs, is you go up into your bead in the most recent row, like so. And what this does is basically it'll hide the thread that comes up, because if you don't put a bead in there, then you'll be able to see the whole thread. And so for this next row, let's go ahead and use this other color. And again, I'm just going to go into the next bead, just like that. And then I'm going to come up the white on the other side. Pick up 2 and go down like so. Then come up the next one and our third set. And as you can see, I'm just going down that white bead. No, you don't have to do the last bead. So let me show you without it in this next row here. So I use that little edge bead, and it creates, so in this bracelet, I did put a little edge bead on it. So I used a 15-oh here. So I used 11 delicas here. And then on this little edge, the ones that are just kind of sticking up here, those are 15s. And I did that, and it added a little decorative edge to it, as you can see. But yeah, you don't have to do that. So I'll show you what it looks like without it on this one here. So basically you come out of that bead, and you're just going to go up into this one. And if you're okay with it, I mean, the thread doesn't really show that much. Some people like it, some people don't. It just depends. Yeah, so it's a personal preference thing, totally. So yeah, if you don't like that, a little bead, then you can totally skip it, Kathy, not a problem. And this is all there is to it. So now you go down into our set of purples now, and then up our next set, and 2 more. And then 1 more. And I grab my tail. And there's the end. And that's all there is to that one. Just a simple back and forth that you're doing. So this is another good one if you're a beginner. It works up nice and quick, and you can do this while you're watching TV. And so again, I'm going to go ahead and skip adding a bead here at the edge and just go straight up. And I'm just going to show you this one row one last time. So I'm using the other color. So again, this one, just go into the white. And every once in a while you have to play around a little bit just to get them to settle down. There's probably not this particular, whoops, I grabbed onto my earring here. You'll have to just, if you type in herringbone, you might find it. This one that I'm showing you, I don't have a tutorial on that specific one on the YouTube channel, Norma. So this one doesn't have a video. But there should be one that I've done before that. It should be like early on when I first started the channel back in 2014. And, whoops, got an extra little visitor there. Let's get rid of that. And my last row. And that's how you do herringbone, where you start with a ladder stitch base. So in a way, I kind of showed you 2 stitches, 2 beginner stitches. So I showed you how to do 2-drop ladder stitch, and then also how to get set up for herringbone, flat herringbone. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer. Or if you have any requests on a specific stitch that you would like to learn, I'd be happy to do a little demonstration on the particular stitch. I think I know all the stitches there are out there, and I'm always looking for ways to learn and figure things out. So anyway, well, I hope you guys found this useful and helpful, and I guess I will see you tomorrow. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it, Norma. And again, today was day 8, so I will be starting. Oh, how do you finish? So let me show you. You basically want to tie off, but it's kind of up to you. Over here, when I made the base, I had, if I was doing a bracelet, I would just leave a little, I'd leave a tail thread, and then I would just make a loop with the beads that I'm using. So all I did was a simple loop, and then just worked back and forth through the beads. Really simple. And then I used a magnetic clasp here on this one. And that's it. So it's nothing too complicated. Does that make sense, Kelly? Were you able to, does that work for you? Do you guys have and if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, well then I will see you tomorrow, same time. Have a good evening, guys. Good night.